What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we'll be going over the latest Destiny news and once again talking about everything happening with the game in the near future. So Bungie gave us some more details on when this big balancing patch is supposed to drop that we've been waiting for quite a while now, and it sounds like they're nearly finished with all the changes they want to make, which I'll be talking about in this video, and I'll also be talking about some of the other things happening with Destiny recently as well, worth knowing about. So firstly, with this big balancing patch, they said it's going to be dropping around mid-February if all goes well. And they also went into a bit more detail on what to actually expect in this patch, kind of vaguely, which we previously didn't really know about. They've always been very tight-lipped about this patch, but it seems like they're getting a little bit more info out, and they're definitely getting closer to finishing it. So pretty interesting nonetheless. So this Sandbox update is actually being called a hotfix called a patch 2.5.0.2, which is actually pretty strange because normally hotfixes are quite small things like little small map changes. But what Bungie is saying, this is definitely a very big, like massive balancing patch, pretty much changing the whole meta, which is dropping, like I said, at mid-February, called 2.5.0.2. They said if all goes to plan, it will be available in just a few weeks, and before then they'll host a live stream on their Twitch channel going through the changes and basically demonstrating what's new, what's been buffed and what's been changed. So basically how they did with the April update last year, if you remember, they went on Exodus Blue and they showed the special ammo changes and the changes to the revive timers. So expect something similar in this fashion. So in terms of the vague explanation, it's pretty interesting, but like I said, very vague at the same time, because they don't exactly go into detail about what's going to be happening, because they're probably still working on it. So they said their goals, number one, to promote alternatives to counter shotguns. So there you go, alternatives to counter, not direct nerf, but some kind of counter and way to kind of get around them. Number two is to align the potency of primary weapons with surgical changes. Again, very ambiguous, but it sounds like they're going to be buffing primaries, like I said before, but not just nerfing shotguns, but buffing other weapons to make them a little bit more competitive. So number three, they said file down a couple of issues with each class, so that's going to be subclasses. Number four, fix some issues with the sampler of platter exotics. And then number five, they said supporting adjustments to special ammunition. So that's definitely very interesting to hear. It sounds like shotguns won't be directly nerfed, but more kind of counterable, and primaries will be buffed. Some subclasses will also be rebalanced, probably the perks and abilities. Some bad exotics will be buffed, and special ammo will be changed once again. I'm not sure if they're going to be reducing the amount of ammo or maybe changing the timers on the spawns. There you go, that is the kind of rough overview of what to expect with this big balancing patch. Now, in terms of my thoughts and speculation of what I think is going to be happening with this patch, of course, leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. But me personally, I can definitely feel, firstly, the Stormcaller melee getting some kind of nerf the way you can just zap people across different planets. I think that's definitely going to get a bit of a reduction. Also, I definitely think skip grenades are going to catch nerf too, or maybe just Shinobi's Vow, the exotic. But if they do nerf these skip grenades or even Shinobi's Vow, I really hope they actually buff the Blade Dancer Super as kind of counterbalance to it. If they just nerf skip grenades by themselves, they're pretty much the only redeeming factor of the subclass, and one of the main kind of like good attributes it has. And as someone who mains a Blade Dancer, the super is pretty weak compared to something like a Stormcaller. It's just a very weak super. So I really hope they make it a little more powerful and nerf skip grenades. Either way, I'm happy as long as they don't make it worse overall. If they do, I'll probably just go back to playing Night Stalker, but Blade Dancer is a lot of fun. It's a really unique and just kind of like aggressive playstyle, which I really do enjoy playing, but if they make it worse, I'll probably switch to something else. But hopefully they make it a little bit less weak and less buggy and easy to counter the Matador. But skip grenades, I can definitely foresee getting some kind of nerf. I also wouldn't be surprised if Titans get their Jug Shield maybe nerfed or reduced, or maybe their mobility in terms of Titan skating at the speed of light. But those are just my guesses and speculations. What changes do you think will happen? I think skip grenades and Stormcaller are a given, but let me know what you think is going to happen, and what would you like to see as well in terms of exotics being buffed and the subclasses and weapons being changed as well. So this balancing patch should breathe a little bit of life into the game and definitely spice things up a little bit. It'll be really cool to see what's different and what's good now, and try and grind for whatever's the good new weapons and see what's different. Like, imagine if slow rate of fire auto rifles and are the best thing, it'll be a whole new grind to try and get some of those. So it'll make things a little bit more interesting for sure. So expect some kind of live stream showing off this patch and what's included in it, probably the next week or maybe the week after that, and then the patch itself to drop a week or two after that, mid-February, if all goes to plan, like Bungie said. So of course, beyond that, we also have that live team event, the update or mini DLC. It's going to be coming soon in the springtime. If you didn't catch what they said last week, it was a slight few hints and a little bit more details, just a couple more hints on what the kind of general theme is. They essentially said that Crimson Days is not going to be returning. We already sort of guessed that based on the Express article I mentioned a while back. So instead of Crimson Days, they're working on a bigger live event, which is coming sometime in the spring. And they also mentioned a lot of live streams to actually reveal the event towards the end of winter. So probably late February, early March, expect a ton more info. And then Deej said the next content update is taking shape. We're super excited to tell you about it. So it's looking like it's probably going to be another April update or dawning in terms of the size and scope of the event. You can tell they're really taking their time with it. It's definitely going to be a lot bigger than Crimson Days and Festival. It's going to be more along the lines of April update or the dawning. And we also know, of course, it's going to be PvE related as well, not just Crucible. From when they said there'll be new orders from the Vanguard, but possibly it could be remaking raids, or maybe they'll come up with some other kind of new PvE activity. But I'm hoping it raises the light level cap. I think that's definitely very important. Hopefully something like 500, I think that'd be really cool. And there needs to be some kind of incentive for for us to actually play the game and want to do these activities, whichever ones they add. But I'm sure they'll add some bits of gear as well, and we'll probably see that dubious folly snuck in there as well. So there you go. The good news is there will be a cool and decent sized event or mini DLC. It's not going to be Crimson Days, but the bad news is that probably have to wait about a month or two to actually start hearing about it and then get it downloaded ourselves. In the meantime, of course, I've got the Sandbox balancing patch to play around with, hopefully make the game feel a little bit more fresh. That should be revealed in the next week or two, and then hopefully dropping the week after that. So there you go. That is all the latest news and what Bungie is saying about the future for Destiny and the future stuff to expect. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, a like rating would always be much appreciated. If you don't want to miss my future videos, you can subscribe and also turn notifications on, and I'll see you guys in the next one.